Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain, and I want to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. We got a really good show, a Father's Day special show for you later on here. We're going to have a variety of things. We have a little segment from Knob Creek Gun Range this week. We actually have my father and my brother on to talk a little about hunting and our earliest childhood memories of hunting with Dad. But don't forget, make sure you take your kids out there hunting and get them on the water. That's what Father's Day is about. Teach them the roots of hunting and fishing, and they'll remember that forever. But with me now here, I have a very special guest. I have Brent Pogue from Pogue's Golf Cart out of Shepherdville. Brent, thanks for coming on tonight.
Good to meet you.
I tell you what, folks, if you're looking for an economical way to get to your hunting spot and you want to be totally quiet, Brent here makes the finest golf cart that you'll ever see. He can have a million different accessories on it, and it's really comparable to the Bad Boy Buggy, but half the price and probably double the duration of it. You just got done building mine on Friday. Mm-hmm. I've known Brent for a little while here, and I got with him and talked about building one for me because I had to have a lot of specific things for the hunting industry. I had to have racks on it. I need the back seat that turns into a bed because when you kill those varmints, man, you got to get them out of there. I need something where it wouldn't have no fumes. It wouldn't have no oil smell, no gas smell, and no noise. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Brent, he said, "Hey, I got the perfect cart for you." But before we get into that and we show my cart off, because I'm real proud of that cart, how did you get into this business?
My dad got into it. My grandpa was into it, and I've been doing it for probably close to 15 years. And I've just got into doing all the customizing, building the hunting buggies, carts for Nolan Lake, or any lake there is, campgrounds, places that have to have all electric, places that want gas to climb steep hills, you name it, we build it.
And what's good is you do sell and build a variety of different carts. Anything from, you can make the electric carts go super fast. Mm-hmm. You can make them just have a ton of torque where they can climb a bunch of hills, which is what I needed. Didn't really care about the speed. I needed quiet, I needed to be able to climb. So that was my two things I really had to push on, and you come through with flying colors, and they just turned out completely amazing. Now what's different, because your carts, when you build them, you really take pride in them, and you go throughout that cart from top to bottom, whether it be all new batteries, all new wiring, if you want LED lights on it. You'll see mine in a minute, I have a very nice 42-inch Blue Water sponsor LED light on there, so I thought I'd throw a sponsor plug in there for them across the front of mine. And I've got everything I need. Plus, folks, if you watched last week's episode, we had Stacy call in from Prime One Camo. I had Joe Bohannon at A+ Printing print me out the Prime One vehicle wrap, and you and your wife put that on, which you told me you'll never do that again. That was a complete nightmare.
Never.
They aren't used to really wrapping carts, and this was the first one they'd done, and I'm proud they did mine. It turned out amazing. But for the right amount of money, you will wrap another one.
Any of them.
But on choice, wrapping's not your specialty.
No.
But it turned out really good, and I sent some pictures over to Prime One today, and they were just super stoked about it. It's the first UTV they've ever had wrapped in their camo pattern, so they're going to be showing it off a lot. So it's really good. I mean, you put everything in it, even at camp, in hunting camp, when you're done for the day, you're back around a campfire enjoying a beverage. Mm-hmm. You put the iPod system in there. It's got an amp. It's got speakers. You can't even see any of it. You plug your phone right in. You can listen to all your music right there at camp.
Marine grade.
It's all marine grade, waterproof. I mean, it is just, here's a picture of the side view of it. Tell us a little bit about what all you did to this one here.
Well, it started off as a club car precedent. The reason I picked that, it's all aluminum frame, lightweight, never rust out. We tear it all the way down to a frame and 4 wheels, go through, pressure wash everything out, get all new bushings, new bearings, go through motors, go through anything that's on it, we go through and we fix everything. When it comes out, it's like a brand new cart. It's got brand new T875 Trojan batteries. It's got the Prim, is that correct? Prime
Camo pattern on it.
Camo pattern wrap. It's got a 6-inch lift. It's got the 22-inch tall tires. We go through, everything's greasable. It's not, it ain't going to wear out.
As you can see, this front picture here, it's got the headlight. It also has a tail lights too around the back. Mm-hmm. That's the 42-inch blue water LED bar under that front basket. That basket's going to be great to hold, backpacks, gear, whatever you need. And it's set back underneath that basket, so when you're going through the woods, you're not going to hit anything. Brent really takes pride and understands what I needed, and he really made all the accommodations so I wouldn't tear it up. It's very durable. I can't keep my daughter off her right now. She's riding it around everywhere with her phone plugged into it up and down the neighborhood. Oh, yeah. So it's everything I could ask for. It's got the top rack like you'd see on some of the Jeeps. You can haul corn up there. You can put gear up there. When we film, we take in a lot more gear than your typical hunter does, and you can't always get it all on a four-wheeler. You get it on a side-by-side, but then you're dealing with gas, you're dealing with noise, you're dealing with all that. You can get it on a bad boy, no problem, if you want to pay $15,000. Exactly. Most hunters are on a budget, don't have $15,000 to spend on a bad boy buggy. What I like, as you can see the back where the speakers are all set in where you can't even see them. That's the back seat. The back seat folds down to to a bed that you can put. What did you say the capacity was?
300 pounds.
300 pounds. It's a lot of corn you can haul. And typically in Kentucky, you don't kill very many 300-pound deer, so it'll have no problem pulling that out for you too. So that's the good thing about that. And not only does he make just these hunting carts, but we'll show some pictures here in a few minutes that he makes carts for everything. Just for pleasure, for your farm, for the lake, campgrounds like he talked about. And you can build these. You can have a custom cart from as low as $3,500 all the way up to this one, for instance, would run you about $6,500, which is still a lot cheaper than a four-wheeler. And here's the advantages. A four-wheeler, you're going to get one person, maybe two on it, but no extra gear. This is going to hold 4 people plus your gear for $3,000 or $4,000 less than you would pay for a brand new four-wheeler. So that's what really caught my eye with it, because when we go to campers, for one, you always have a camera guy with you. Oh, yeah. And then most times you have 2 hunters and 2 camera guys. So without having a lot of traffic go through, you can get one vehicle in that's totally quiet, in and out. They'll never even know it. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to show you some of the other options that Brent builds on his cart. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain. With me is Brent Pogue. We've been talking about these golf carts he's been building. He just built for me for a new hunting toy for me. The next picture we're going to show you is where you can haul, up to 4 people on it safely. It's got the handlebars on the side that you grab onto, so people don't fall out, which is important. And I'll tell you what, I was super impressed with the speed for being all electric. It didn't really bog down going up hills. It kept the same speed going up as I did on flat ground. So I was really impressed with that. And I tell you what, you went through this thing top to bottom. Like I said, you put the radio in it, you put the blue water LED light on it. It's got headlights, it's got tail lights. It's got everything. Here's the picture, here's the back seat. It really turned out really good. It's got a place for your feet. It's very safe. I was riding around back before I came in the show tonight with my daughter, and she was going everywhere, and I never once thought I was going to fall off or be unsafe on there. So it's a really nice cart. I'm super impressed. And those knobby tires, man, those are going to eat into everything, and they're going to climb, and they're going to run, and it's going to do everything I needed to do as far as hunting, getting back to my spot without disturbing too much. And with it being wrapped in the Prime 1 camo, that's even a bonus. Now, I want to show some other pictures of some other different carts that you have built. Now, what are some of the options that people want them for the lake? What are some of the popular options you see on that?
Mainly at the lake, you get a lot of headlights, taillights, rear seat. Certain areas of certain lakes, they have ordinances, and you'll have to have street legal kit, which is headlight, taillight, rear seat. You got to have the mirror, turn signals, brake lights.
And you can do all that on those.
Oh yeah.
And
sky's the limit.
And basically whatever. Here's some pictures here of some ones he just got done doing. Now that's lights out colors there. That's a good looking orange cart there with those fancy rims on there. And folks, if you got any golf cart needs, make sure you call Brent 644-2034. That's his personal cell phone. He'll get right with you. He's got a killer shop out in Shepherdsville. It's pretty efficient. They get them in, get them out. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, Brent, I want to build this golf cart, and I want it to go, I want to be at the lake with it, but I also want to use it around my house. What kind of time frame can they expect from start to finish from they contact you to the time they get it done?
From start to finish for a regular cart for around the house, which would be like a golf cart, headlights, tail lights, and a rear seat, because it'll fold out. You can use it for gardening, doing anything you want. You're looking at maybe a day and a half.
Folks, you can't beat that. I mean, he's building them in a day and a half. Here's a beautiful cardinal red one, which is my favorite color. And it turned out really good. Is that a chrome steering wheel? I mean, that's a nice look. So basically, anything you want to add to these, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that cart's sitting right there. That is something you would see at the lake or whatever. What would that cart there cost for somebody to buy?
That cart right there is going to run you around $4,200.
Now, $4,200, folks, that's not a bad price. Go price a side-by-side. Go price a four-wheeler.
2010.
Yeah.
Easy go gas.
I mean, so, go price the other stuff that you're comparing them to, and you're going to see that this is definitely a lot cheaper option of the way to go. What are some of the unique things that you have done to these golf carts, something different that you don't always see?
We've got some golf carts that have air ride. They'll go from anywhere from sitting on the ground to 2.5 foot in the air.
No way.
Oh, yeah. We've got snow plows. We got salt spreaders. You name it, we can put it on a cart.
And see, that's the great thing about it, because you can do everything you need to do around your house as far as, if you have a big piece of property, you can use this. If you have cattle, I mean, if you have horses, if you have any farm animals that you take care of, these are great options. They do have full enclosures for them, too. The full enclosures, I mean, I've seen people have them full enclosed at the golf course and have a little buddy heater in them and run you completely out of them in there. So you can basically do anything you want to that golf cart.
You name it, you can do it.
And that's what's the crazy part is, because I never really, until I got with you and talked to you about what my needs were, that you had, when you broke out this catalog, the catalog was about that thick, and there was so many options you could put on there, and you can run that cart up to 10 grand if you wanted to put, everything on it. Make sure you go like his Facebook page. He's fairly new on the social media here, so go give him some likes, and he'll keep that updated. I just got on him before we started. I'm like, man, you don't do nothing with social media. But his response to me was he's too busy building people's carts to worry about social media, so that's a good problem to have. But also make sure, if you already currently have a cart, you do full service too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what should people do if they have golf carts as far as servicing them?
Every
What intervals?
Every year, depending on if it's a gas or electric. If it's electric, you never want to leave it outside. When it's freezing out, your batteries will freeze over. Go out once a month, put it on charge. After that once a month, heats the acid up, the acid will not freeze.
Okay.
A gas cart, every spring or every fall, you want to go through, change the oil, clean the carburetors, change all the fuel filters, just normal maintenance.
And you do that there at your facility?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you get a live service facility done?
Oh, yes.
That's probably a big part of your job is the service part of it.
Every spring, it's crazy.
Now, what does it usually cost for somebody to bring in their gas cart and have it just, souped up for summertime, get everything taken care of? What's it usually cost them to have that done?
You bring a gas cart in, it usually takes us a day. It's going to cost you around $80.
Now, folks, you can't beat that. Why would you even want to worry about changing your own oil
adjusting valves,
adjusting everything for $80? I mean, you can't beat that for $80. And he's really convenient in Shepherdsville, right off 65 by the Awesome Flea Market. If you're from Kentucky, you surely know where the Awesome Flea Market is because it's pretty awesome. That's what they tell me anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're into people watching, it's the place to go.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. But if you have any needs for any of your golf carts, Brent's your man. And I tell you what, I'm so happy we hooked up because it's going to be really good this year. And I can't wait to show you all some pictures of us using it in the woods and hauling deer out and hauling corn in and checking cameras. Matter of fact, I'm heading down to the farm next Friday. It's going to get its test run down there at the farm. But we're going to do our best to push these. He's definitely came on as a sponsor for Lights Out Outdoors, and I really appreciate what he's done for me there. And you're going to be seeing his golf carts everywhere. When we get it on Pursuit Channel and put it in 43 million households, you might want to contact him now to build one because when it's all said and done, he might be on a 2-year wait if you want to get one built. So that's our goal anyway, is to fill you up where you got to hire a bunch of people and push them out. So, Brent, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. And anything else you want to plug before you head out?
Should be about it.
Okay, just make sure you give him a call. He's got his phone number. You'll find it on. You can also watch us on YouTube here in a couple of days. It'll go on there, and It is Pogue Golf Cart, and it's his cell phone number, and he'll definitely take care of you. Now, when we come back from break, you're going to see a little 7-minute segment on our great sponsor, Knob Creek Gun Range. Guys, if you need anything, make sure you go out and see Kenny Sumner's the game. They got it all, from hunting to tactical to ammo to reloading to the gun range itself, the machine gun shoots they have twice a year. They're a great follower of ours, so stay tuned. Watch this little segment when we'll be back. We're going to have my dad and my brother on. We're going to talk some early memories of hunting. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain. Now every week we tell you about our great sponsor, Knob Creek Gun Range, and we go into all the different aspects of what they offer here at Knob Creek. And today we actually wanted to bring you on location and show you what they have to offer. With me I have Kenny Sumner. Kenny,
hi.
Appreciate your time today.
Good to be with you.
Now tell me a little bit about Knob Creek. How did it get started and what do y'all do here?
My dad started a range years ago, actually back in the early 60s, and it's been a gun range ever since. And I started running the gun range in 1980. He turned it over to me to run and make it or break it, as you might say. So we've been making it ever since. So.
And you've done a great job, you know, across the country. I've hunted all over this country, and you know, you're more famous for your machine gun shoot that is known countrywide. I've been in Montana elk hunting, and they say, "Where are you from?" Kentucky. Well, they have the machine gun shoot there. So everybody knows Knob Creek as the machine gun shoot.
Yeah.
But it's not all you offer here. You offer a variety of different things.
Right.
What kind of weapons do you usually carry here?
We sell a good selection of handguns, bolt action rifles, semi-auto, you know, the black rifles, as you might say,
sure.
Assault rifles, revolvers, just a full slew of all of them.
And you have everything you need for, and we talk every week about Knob Creek Cow. You know, most of our viewers are hunters. So you have everything from any type of hunting rifle you might want, whether you want to hunt with a pistol, hunt with a rifle. Do you carry slug guns?
I have a few. I don't sell a lot of slug guns, but I do have a few. And anything we don't have in the store, we can order and get it in here. So.
And then you also have the scope rings, scope bases, things of that sort. Everything you need, including ammunition, of course, to supply your local hunter.
Yes, sir. We sure do. We do mounting and bore sighting on the hunting rifles. So if anybody needs their scope mounted and bore sighted, we can take care of that for them. Then we have the range where they can come out and shoot. Range fees just $10 a person to shoot for the day.
Right. And you also have a yearly, where you can do a yearly, right?
Yearly membership for an individual is $100. You don't have to pay the $10 fee when you come out. Just come out and shoot as often as you can afford to.
So, you know, $10 a shot or $100 a year. If you're an avid shooter, or if you're hunting, if you're setting in several rifles, whether it be muzzleloader, pistol, whatever you're doing for deer season, you can always come out here, and for $100 a year, you've got it. I mean, you can shoot as many times as you want to.
It's a bargain in every sense of the word.
It is. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you're known for, your machine gun shoot. Tell us a little bit how that goes on.
Machine gun shoot, we do that in April and October, and we have shooters that come from across the country out here to shoot because they just don't have the range to shoot.
Sure.
And some of the laws in the states won't allow them to shoot full auto, so we're fortunate enough that we can do that.
God bless Kentucky.
And we can do that, and we have the pyrotechnic charges and stuff that we get to put on the targets and blow those things up, so, you know, we got permits and stuff to do that.
What is the biggest weapon y'all have shot here at the range for your machine gun shoot?
We've had, I think they brought a 105 out one time just to shoot. Yeah, and it does rock the world here.
I'd say it does. Sounds like you really got Fort Knox in your backyard when you fire that off. Now, what kind of things do y'all blow up when y'all are at the machine gun shoot?
Target-wise, we shoot old car bodies, appliances, you know, refrigerator stoves, water heaters, wood and electric spools, old boats.
I've seen a bus or two, maybe?
We've done buses. I think the only thing we haven't shot up probably is an airplane or something. You
Is
know,
that planning for the future?
If one ever come available, I guess we could take care of it.
Right. And it's a really good, and you have a lot of vendors here, correct?
We do. We have over 1,500 tables in our gun show area, which in the big pole barn area and around the drive as you come into the range. I'd say it's about 225 different vendors.
And what kind of items are these vendors carrying? Is it all like new stuff or used stuff? Is it like bargain trading? What goes on?
There's a lot of unique parts and pieces for machine guns. They have machine guns for sale, ammunition, military surplus, just gun parts in general.
Probably a lot of hard to find stuff.
Oh, there is, yeah. And ammunition, they bring tractor trailer loads of ammo out here. So
Really?
it's a good time to hunt up some cheap ammo.
What kind of numbers do you see from the general public? I know when you drive by here, when they're having a machine gun shoot, they're parked all the way down 44 both ends. And so I know it's a good turnout, but what kind of numbers actually from the public comes out here and sees this stuff?
We normally have between 14 and 16,000 a weekend.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Not only are you, I mean, a lot of people from out of town, so you're really supporting, you know, our local hotels, our local restaurants, and, you know, you're really bringing an economic impact to our county here when you do these machine gun shoots.
Yes, sir.
And people seem to enjoy it. You can't go around anywhere in Bullitt County, Jefferson County, Nelson County during that weekend and people not talk about Knob Creek Gun Range because it's the biggest thing going on. So people plan their whole weekends right around your gun shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's folks that, I mean, just twice a year, they plan their vacation to come out to the shoot.
That's impressive.
That's their vacation, so.
And folks, so we've told you about Knob Creek every single week on Wild Kentuckiana Live, but we've not yet shown you. So this is exactly what they do here. They also offer, if you would like them, and you don't have time to, if you'd like them to set your rifle in for you, they do offer that service also. So make sure you come out here in Knob Creek on 44. You're right here close to the Jefferson County line. You're in Bullitt County, very convenient. They got a range official out there, so it's really speedy. You can go in and shoot, go out and get your targets, so you're not waiting around hours for everybody to clear. They really have a professional atmosphere. Everybody here knows what they're doing, so if you have any questions, you can speak with any of the staff. Kenny, you're here every single day.
90% of the time.
Right, so every time I walk in, I always see Kenny here. So get all your ammo here and check out their website. Their website will have all the important information for when the machine gun shoots are happening. They offer concealed classes here.
Yes, sir.
And you also do the Fish and Wildlife Orange Card certifications here.
Yeah, the Hunter Ed classes, we do those.
And you can check their website out for all that information, or on the Hunter Safety, you can go to the fishandwildlife.com website. It will tell you when the classes are here at Knob Creek. So make sure you come out and take care of these guys, because I tell you what, they're doing a great thing out here for all of us. They're really supporting our Second Amendment rights. So folks, thanks for tuning this week to Wild Kentuckiana Live. Welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain, and you just seen a great segment from Knob Creek Gun Range. Make sure you go out there and tell them that Tom's Lights Out sent you. They really take good care of you. We had Brent Pogue on from Pogue's Golf Carts. Folks, if you need anything golf cart related, if you already have one and you want to be able to soup yours up like he did mine, he can do all that with the current one you already have. So make sure you go see him. As you've watched the show throughout the year so far, you've seen we've had a lot of really good guests on, from pro athletes, state senators, Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, commissioner. We've had a variety of people on here, and this is probably my favorite show because I get to spend some time here. And you always hear me talk about my dad hunting. He's the one that got me into hunting. He's the one that got me going where I'm at now. So I'm really happy to bring my dad and my brother on. We spent a lot of time in the woods together growing up. My brother, he moved to Indiana, so he don't get to hunt us a whole lot, but this year we're going to change that.
Undoubted.
You probably, if you watch the Lights Out show, you've seen my brother do some cooking episodes for me. He's a monster cook, man. He's definitely the cook of the family. And he always puts together some really good recipes for venison and rabbit and dove and anything else he can get his hands on. So I'm really happy to have my dad here, Bob, and my brother Chris. And what we're going to talk about here on Father's Day is some of the earliest childhood memories of hunting. Now, I'm going to start off because I was thinking about this on the way in here today. The earliest childhood memory I can remember, probably 6 or 7 years old, my first time being in the woods with a weapon. Dad was with me, of course. Mm-hmm. And it was me and Grandpa and Dad, mm-hmm. and we went squirrel hunting out in Crestwood. And I can remember parking at the edge of the field, you know, being 6 or 7, I still remember this as like it's yesterday. And that's why it's so important to make sure you take your kids hunting and fishing, because no matter what their age, they're going to remember this.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely remember this like it happened yesterday. Grandpa not going too far from the truck. He stayed
Always
pretty close.
sleeping.
Always sleeping. Grandpa always leaned up against a tree when we'd come back after the morning squirrel hunt, and he'd be leaned up against a tree, crashed out. But I can remember me and you getting off, finding some hickory nut trees, sitting down, and it wasn't shortly after daylight, we had a skunk come by us.
Right between us.
Right between us, and I wanted to shoot this skunk, and Dad was like, just be quiet, do not move, do not say a word, don't think about shooting this skunk, because it would have been awful. It would have been. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And it's crazy because, you know, it's funny how that's the first real hunting memory I had was me, you, and Grandpa. And I can remember being in school and thinking, okay, it's Friday, tomorrow we're going squirrel hunting. And we always went squirrel hunting with Grandpa. Right. Grandpa didn't do anything but really catfish at Pay Lakes and squirrel hunting was his two favorite things.
And occasionally rabbit hunting.
Right. But as he got older and his health started falling a little bit, he did more of the fishing than anything.
Right.
And I can remember going to Pay Lakes throughout Louisville with Grandpa catfishing all the time. I mean, those are some of my fondest memories. You know, I've been blessed to hunt a lot of places here in the last few years and a lot of really good ranches in a lot of different states, but probably my earlier hunting years was my favorite. And Chris, what's your earliest memory you can remember hunting with us?
You know, I can't really recall an earliest memory, but you know what I can recall more than anything is we were going hunting, and mostly for me it was shooting. Right. Because that's just what I did.
Right.
You know, I shot. I love to shoot, and it's just or getting the truck stuck. I mean, how many times were we pulling the truck out of somewhere that Dad said not to go? Right. You know, we learned real quick that if there's some weeds in an old dried up pond, that pond ain't dry. That's for certain. Yeah. You know, I can think of a lot of times. I think for me, one of the memories that sticks out is when I took my first deer. I still got a picture at home and a Polaroid. I think most people probably don't know what a Polaroid is these days. Right. I don't know if you'd call it a deer. It was a yearling, and I think for me that stands out, you know, more than anything. Just that first harvest that you take. Right. And knowing everything, there's just so much there. But the memories. There's so many memories. There's not really a first memory. It's so much a part of who I am today. I don't get to hunt as much anymore. You took a different route. Hunting's your passion. I fell in love with the shooting aspect of it. I love to shoot. I do love to hunt. But for me, the shooting aspect of it's where it is for me. And you know, I do a lot of target shooting and everything. And I'm closer now. I'm going to be back hunting this year. So I'll be far away with my slug gun, limited amount of ammo, and I may take me 2 or 3 shots, but I'll take a deer.
You know, I can remember, I can still remember my first deer kill. It was in Crestwood on Clore Farm.
Yes.
And I've heard you tell this story a lot. You know, I can still to this day remember I was wearing Grandpa's old hunting jacket, and I had this doe come in, and I shot her. And Dad, what happened then? You said I was running out of that woods?
Yeah, it was Kurt. We was up at the top of the hill, and you come up and said, Dad, I got one. I said, okay, great. You know, so let's go down and see it. Well, me and Kurt was driving the truck back up towards you, to your area where you was at. Well, next thing we see, here comes this deer, and to our imagination, it looked like it was just bouncing across the field, and here you are just grabbing hold and just coming up through there with the adrenaline pumping in you. Nobody helped you drag a deer out.
I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I can remember, and after I killed it, my biggest worry, and I can still remember this, my biggest worry was I got blood on Grandpa's jacket. You know, that's what I was worried about. Knowing now, he didn't care about that. He could care less about that. You know, that's part of hunting. You're going to get blood on things. But I can remember dragging that deer up that hill. It was a pretty good incline, too. And I was a lot skinnier back then. And hauling that deer up there, you know, she was a big doe.
She's a real nice doe.
I mean, that doe probably weighed, you know, 115, 120 pounds, so it was a good 3-year-old doe probably. But there's a lot of fond memories. Chris, I can remember you getting a new, not a new, but a new to you used pickup truck. I was going to Henry County, finding an old creek bed and almost humping it on its side. Do you remember that?
I don't know how that truck survived a month. I know I've hit a tree with it at least 3 times, pulled out with a tractor. I don't know how many times Dad had to pull it out with his old green Dodge. Right. Yeah, I think I was definitely the annex of the group, and I still live with the annex to today. It's, you know, it's kind of the joker of the group. And that poor truck, I think it made it about 6 months, but it's a miracle that it made it that long.
I can remember having that thing on its side like this, and it almost, I mean, he couldn't open the driver's door. It was that close to the ground. And we thought for sure at any minute it was just going to roll over. And our only concern was Dad's going to kill us.
Yes.
You know, that's all we was worried about is Dad's going to kill us.
We were out in the middle of nowhere.
You know, we've had some really, really good memories. When I was younger and Chris was younger, we were known for, if you had 3 slugs in your gun, all 3 of them come out.
Yes.
It didn't matter if you hit it on the first, second, or third one, all 3 of them come out.
That's right.
And it was just bam, bam, bam as fast as you could. And I can remember, Kurt was an old friend of Dad's, and he, bless his soul, he's passed away now, but we hunted his property for, 20 years probably or better?
Oh, every bit of it.
It's now owned, or leased by Mossy Oak. By the way, I don't like you all, Mossy Oak. I want that farm back. But that's where all my hunting memories come from. I mean, from my first deer killed out there. Dad killed several quality 4.5, 5-year-old bucks out there. They're all hanging on the wall, and a lot of them are in the restaurant now. But that farm was just something special out there. And we pulled an old pop-up camper out there, and it was just as much fun sitting around camping and taking mid-afternoon naps between the morning and the evening hunt, and grilling out, and all the things that just make hunting enjoyable. And Dad has killed several nice bucks, and now his motto is what?
Can't eat the rack.
Can't eat the rack. So, we have a different philosophy.
I'll try cooking it.
Right. Chris is the cooker in the family for sure. We have a different philosophy. I really want that 4.5, 5-year-old mature buck. Dad wants that deer that has back straps. It doesn't matter what the age or what the sex or how many points it has. And we'll show a picture when we come back from break of this past year. Got into where I'm filming Dad now, and it was really a treat of mine to be able to film him take this buck with a crossbow, because it kind of turned out really funny because you were frustrated at first.
Yes, I was.
And I really want to thank Robert, our editor, because when he goes through his footage, he's going to have to do a lot of bleeping out because Dad was fired up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain, and we're doing a really special Father's Day special show tonight. It means a lot to me having my father here and my brother here. Before we went to break, we was talking about some stories, and during the commercial, we're sitting here laughing because we're reminiscing among each other. And I got a story I'm gonna tell about Chris here in a minute, and
It's not true.
oh, it's definitely true. And
No pictures didn't happen.
I probably shouldn't tell it, but man, I've been thinking about it all week. I cannot wait to tell this story. But before we get to that story, I'm gonna show you a picture of Dad. We got to hunt this place that backed up to Fort Knox last year, and this right here is a full velvet little 4-pointer, and I had it on film. I can't wait to show it on the Pursuit channel, because if you know our model, it's not about always harvesting the 180, 190-inch deer. It's not a hobby, it's a way of life. That is our motto. It's not a hobby, it's a way of life for us. This is what we grew up doing. And he was just as happy with this small buck as he was some of the greater, bigger ones he's killed on the wall, because to him, it's backstraps, it's venison, it's meat, it's something we all love to eat, and we eat our fair share of it. And look at Bob, can't eat the antlers, Chamberlain. That's what that's his thing, After he accomplished the hunting goals he wanted to accomplish, then it's all about meat for him, and that I'm happy that he does that. And it was really cool because we were sitting in this big raised box blind, and the first one, it was another small buck and a doe come out.
Right.
And he had just got this new crossbow. It's a 10-point crossbow.
Right.
And the buck was there at the corn pile, and he was fixed on like 22 yards. And I had the camera. I couldn't get around him, so I had to lean out the front window and around and put the camera on my shoulder to get it steady. And I'm ready. And all of a sudden, I see it Luminock. It was shooting light, but it was still early. I see it Luminock hit right before him and run off. And I got the film rolling, and Dad's cussing like a sailor. And I'm like, you got to remember, we're on film. You cannot do that. And so he was pretty frustrated because he missed it. Well, what happened was the deer had walked about another 15 or 20 yards, and he didn't readjust his HHA sight, which is the best sight on the market. They even make a crossbow sight. That's what he was using. So he didn't readjust that, so of course he shot way behind the deer. So we're frustrated. We're sitting there, And I'm laughing because he's still mad. He's still steaming. You know, after all the years he's been hunting, he still takes it personal. And so I was like, just give it a few more minutes. Let's see. We had a big corn pile out, big nice food plot. Well, lo and behold, no one comes out.
Sure did.
And it wasn't 15 minutes later, we're up there talking, and he looks over, there's no one there. So I'm same scenario. I'm reaching out the window, and I'm hoping, don't cuss. And we're going to get this one on film. And bam, he smokes it. It doesn't run very far, and it balls up like a rabbit. And to me, that was a great experience, getting him on film, getting him shooting that. The size of the buck does not matter. It's all about the enjoyment of the hunt, what you're doing it for, saving your heritage, passing your heritage on. You know, he's passed it on to me and Chris. I've passed it on to my son. Chris has got a beautiful daughter, my niece.
She's ready.
She's not so much into hunting yet, but I've seen a lot of pictures of her fishing, so she's pretty tore up with that. So, you know, that's really good. Now, Dad, what is your earliest memory of me and Chris hunting?
My best memory is actually taking you boys out in the woods and teaching the trees what to look for, the different kinds of trees for the nuts, you know, for the deer that's going to travel, and then getting your first deer.
Right.
You know, that's a memory that I'll never forget. It'll always be with me until I'm gone.
Right.
And it's just being with you boys. You know, I don't care how old I get, you know, how long I'm in this world, but as long as I'm with you all, it's everything.
Absolutely. You know, you always tell a story about me and Chris, and when we were younger, Chris still can't shoot for nothing.
Oh, yeah, I can.
But when we were younger, we were awful shots. Let's go over a story of me and Chris having our little fun.
What, up the tree there?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to be nice to you.
No,
but
go ahead.
I'll tell you like it is.
I've been embarrassed before.
It's going to get worse for me.
It is going to get worse for you.
I was saying, that friend of mine, Kurt, we was pretty close, and we're out in the field. We had done been hunting that morning, and Chris and Tom was hunting together. So they're up in the tree, and we hear boom, boom, boom.
Keep in mind, we both have shotguns.
Then we heard 3 more. Well, then it got quiet. Well, next thing we know, we see you and Chris coming up the field. Say, Dad, I'm out of shells. I need some more shells. We commenced our deer. I said, well, the deer's probably gone. He said, no, they're still out there in the field. So they go back. They climb up in the tree stand again, quiet, which, you know, I'm very proud of because they know how to get up in there. Then I hear boom, boom, again. And I said, well, they got it this time. Well, they came back down. No deer.
Yeah.
It's gone.
You know, our problem was we were coming out. I remember this story. And I can remember you and Kurt sitting up by the apple tree waiting on us.
Right.
And we come out of the woods, and there was this little, our stand you could see was on the edge of the woods. You could see this big field. And they were a little farther than a 20 gauge slug has the capability of reaching. So we were thinking, well, you hold high.
Just arch it.
Arch it in, you know.
Get in there, just lob it.
So, you know, apparently 6 shots originally wasn't enough to run them off. Us coming out, running up to the truck, getting another box of ammo, running back down to the truck, getting back in the stand, and then firing 3 more times, that was enough to finally push them out.
Well, they knew they were safe.
Oh, absolutely. With us around when we were younger, we were probably, either middle school or early high school.
Probably.
At the very latest.
Without it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, those deer lived to see another day, for sure. That farm just held so many deer that it was just shooting fish in a barrel. Unfortunately, we wasn't able to hit many fish in that barrel that day.
Yeah.
But, you know, we both, and even our cousin that's like our brother to us, that's been with us our whole life, he was able to harvest his first deer there. Now, Michael, his go-to was he got in the stand and slept the whole time.
I do pretty good sleeping in the stand myself.
You know, I do, but now that I travel with a camera guy, it's a little harder because they keep me awake.
They bust you.
Yeah, they don't let me sleep like I used to when I was younger.
But there's a method to my madness. I figure if I'm asleep, I'm silent, they'll wake me up when they get there.
Well, that's what we have social media for now. I'll get in my stand and look at Facebook and make posts on Facebook or stuff like that now. Boy, we didn't have that growing up. That's my time to get my social media catch up going. But we had just a ton of good memories. Like I said, you know, me, you, and Michael were all 3 able to harvest our first deer on that farm.
Yes.
And several deer after that, several deer. You figure if you hunt a place in Oldham County that for 20 years that just holds a really good deer,
Right.
you're going to have the opportunity to harvest nice deer out of there.
Truly was a privilege.
It was actually a privilege. I can remember Dad wasn't hunting with me, and I'm going to do a quick story here before we go to break. Dad was actually in the hospital. You had just had open heart surgery, and me and my Uncle Kenny, Dad's brother, was hunting before we went to the hospital, and I killed a really, really nice 10-pointer, and I couldn't wait to get to the hospital to show you pictures of it. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And so stay tuned. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back while we're Kentuckiana Live. Father Bob and my brother Chris. And it's been a really good show for me tonight because it's been able to reflect on a lot of really great hunting memories that we've had. And anytime you have a hunting memory, it's always going to be a good one. Whether you miss that deer or don't harvest that deer like me and Chris did, it's still a good memory to have. It still beats the memory of a lot of people that they have out there. And you know, if you're able to hunt and fish and able to do it like I get to, which is a lot more than most people, I'm really blessed to be able to do what I want to do. And it's opened a lot of opportunities for me to be able to take Dad different places. Like we took Dad this past fall, me, you, and Jacob, my son, were able to go to Maine to bear hunt. Unfortunately, Dad didn't get to harvest a bear, but we had a really good time. There was a lot of firsts for him. He'd never been bear hunting, never flew, and we was in way upstate Maine, and we just had a ball.
Yeah, I'll fly to the store now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, other than getting, go this outfitter up in Maine getting fed hot dogs for dinner, you know, who knew that was going to happen? They had lobster in the freezer, but we got hot dogs. So
that was just to tease you.
After that was worked out, we had a really good time in Maine. But you know, before we went to break the last time, I was talking about a really funny story I probably shouldn't tell about Chris.
No, you probably shouldn't.
And now, keep in mind, once the show's over, I'm going to buy him dinner to make up for it. And he's my brother and I love him. And
he's going to keep telling it.
And I'd do anything in the world for him. But I can remember this one story. And every time I think about it, I could be in the worst mood ever. It cracks me up. Just thinking about it just cracks me up. So, I don't know, Dad wasn't hunting. It was just me and Chris. Who knows? We may have skipped school and went hunting. Who knows? Probably skipped school to go hunting. It's cold. It's freezing outside. There's snow on the ground. I mean, it is freezing. And we're hunting two different locations. And back then, you didn't have texting and all that, so we had two-way radios. So I heard Chris shoot, and I waited for a little bit, but because it wasn't uncommon to hear another shot after Chris shot. So, or 10 more shots, or whatever ammo he had packed on him. So he'd shot, and I only heard one shot. I thought, well, it probably wasn't Chris. It was just one shot.
Yeah.
Well, he sits on the two-way radio, hey, got a deer. So I'm pumped up. And I get just as excited when I get to go track one with somebody else than if I'm shooting it myself. So, you know, I'm hurrying down the stand. I'm getting over to where he's at. You know, back then there wasn't no four-wheelers. There wasn't none of golf carts.
Muscle work.
It was all hard labor, dragging it out on your own.
And they all ran downhill.
And they always ran downhill for some reason. And so he kills this doe, and she goes all the way down to this creek bed. So we're tracking. Good blood trail everywhere. And we get to the creek, of course, and the creek, it's got a little bit of running water through it. And all of a sudden, he bends over. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, man, I got that pain. And we've all had that pain in the woods. You know, so I'm like, oh, man, okay, I'll keep tracking. You do what you got to do, and I'll keep tracking. So I get across the creek bed, and I'm going. And he gets done with his pain, and he hollers, hey, man, I got a problem. I'm like, what do you mean you got a problem? And apparently he pulled his coveralls down because it was very cold, but didn't remove them from behind him.
Whoops.
So he had a big pile in his coveralls. And he's like, what do I do now? I'm like, I'm warm. You know, I've got my coveralls still. And my first thought was, Mom's going to kill you if she's going to wash those.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking, I can't remember correctly, but I think you left the coveralls in the creek.
Oh, yeah. Boots, underwear, T-shirt. 10 degrees outside.
All in the creek. You know, that was the funniest thing.
Dragging a deer out of the woods.
He's almost butt naked trying to get his deer out. It is so cold. And I mean, and he just, I don't know what he did, but he messed himself up. And when we get around hunting camp, whether Chris is there or not, I tell the story because I want everybody to know what happened.
Yeah,
you know, I want everybody to know what happened. luckily, you know, he was still able to get married. He was still be able to find a wonderful wife and have a wonderful kid, even though they probably know that story. He would still be able to successful and have
Some
that.
things you don't tell your wife and kid.
Well,
Now they know.
That might be true. But, you know, that's one of the memories I have is me and you hunting together. And that's something that's going to stick with me the rest of my life. And anybody that will ever listen, I'm going to tell that story to. I know that you're not proud of that story, but, you know, it's hunting, you know.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago.
Right. It's
Part
hunting.
of it.
You know, you know, everybody has that pain in the woods. And, you know, I've came home with no socks and no T-shirts. And
I can tell you what, I ain't done it again.
I bet you learned your lesson from that one.
You poop on your coveralls once. That's a
Right.
life lesson.
It is. I can remember Dad coming home as a kid, and he'd be missing half his T-shirt. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you missing half your T-shirt? And then once I started hunting, I realized why you're missing half your T-shirt.
that's it.
You do. You know, but on a different note, you know, just hunting in general with my family is one of the happiest memories I have. And now that my son's at age where he's able to harvest things and he's learning the right way, and I'm teaching him things that Dad taught me and Chris, you know, different nut trees and tracking and scrapes and rubs and
The safety,
safety,
the conservation.
conservation,
It all goes together.
deer
It makes you who you are.
patterns. You know, it really is something that's entailed into our bloodline. And, you know, I keep going back to it, but my show's motto is it's not a hobby, it's a way of life. And that's truly how I feel about it. Hobbies are muscle cars and restoring cars and, you know, that type of thing. But to me, hunting, that's a way, it's part of my life, it's part of who I am, it's part of what I do. And I'm always excited when I can share that with young people, whether it be my son, or other young people that may not have the opportunity that I had growing up, because there's a lot of kids out there, folks. If you've got a neighbor or a nephew or a grandson, you know, it's a big family affair for us.
Right.
You know, my uncles hunt. It's just fun for all of us. And if you have somebody out there that you know that would enjoy hunting, by all means take them. It's going to keep them out of trouble. You see this thing on Facebook, if you teach a kid to hunt, he'll never have money for drugs. That's a true statement.
That's very true.
Because
Even if you don't know if they like to hunt, they don't know.
they don't
Take
know.
'em.
That's right. You know, all it takes is putting them in the staying with you one time or in a ground blind and just that pure excitement of natural adrenaline rush. I mean, to the point where your body almost goes numb when you're able to harvest your animal.
Right.
I still get that feeling. You told me years ago, when you stop getting nervous on shooting does, quit hunting.
Time to
it.
quit.
And you know what? I haven't lost that. And hopefully I'll never lose that because it's something I want to continue to do the rest of my life. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you next week. Wild Kentuckiana Live.